lights up. Alright, let's open her up. There's the case. Open that up. There's all the files. Let's see what they look like in your movies. That's what it looks like. Looks cool. It's motion sensor. You have to whack it a little to make it, and it shuts itself off after a little bit. It's cool. Here's your movies. You got Shield Initiative, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Captain America, Thor, and finally the Avengers. Alright, in there that said open immediately, you get a Shield ID pass. I am going to have to delete the code. There's that side, which I'll make sure to delete. And then you have this, which I'm assuming you can see there's a image of a, let me see if I can pronounce Shinchuriki or whatever the hell the bad guys were. Some more images there. I don't know if you can see. Most likely that is going to be pass along these files showing you information possibly, or the internet. Alright, here's the things. You get a certificate of authenticity. This file on the Tesseract itself. Some interesting findings and whatnot. Obviously an old Captain America, because there's Steve Rogers photo, and some paperwork, his initial 4F, whatnot. Obviously little Tony Stark blueprint for the arc reactor. This one, it has Thor material, but it doesn't say Thor, which is interesting. I'm gonna have to Google this and see. I'm thinking that's like Spanish or something. But as you can see, you get his medical bracelet for when anybody's in the hospital down there. There's the hospital bracelet. His New York State driver's license for Dr. Donald J. Blake. Jane Foster's physical, so that's Thor's file. And then you got Bruce. Little ID, some newspaper clippings. I remember that from his movie. Funny there. And Sonic things made by Stark Industries. So that's cool. What I'm going to try to is, if you can go here, it is the town where Thor fought the Destructor. Or whatever the hell the guy's name. Alright, going through your Shield Tesseract folder, you come across some files. Item 47 here, and if you look at the image, there is the enemy that they fought in Avengers. That partial image, which correspond to that. Let's see there. So if you line those up, it states, see, Director Fury has ordered you to be sent to battleofnewyork.net to receive further operational debriefing. And then the code behind your card, I already made the mistake of showing it once. Hopefully I remembered to delete or eliminate that. That code behind this card grants you more evidence. In that folder is also a business card for Mr. Philip J. Coulson, nicknamed Fry. Philip J. Fry, you get it, okay. It's a bad joke, I know. You type in the URL of battleofnewyork.net, you get a SHIELD, Agency Logistics Division. You enter the code, which I will enter the code in the back of my ID. I'm going to pause the video and then come back after I have it entered and let's see where it takes us. You get complete your dossier. So obviously you're going to fill out your name, email address, date of birth, zip code. Okay, so let's fill that out and do it. I will be right back. And now you get debriefing. Make sure the volume is all the way up. This is the first time I'm seeing this, so
Iron Man 1 was the first in a giant Avengers Assemble Phase 1, leading up to Avengers itself. Iron Man 3 is the start of that new road into Phase 2. Building from the first Iron Man film to the Avengers, and Tony's part in that world and fulfilling what Nick Fury told him in the very last scene of the first Iron Man film.
Mr. Stark, you become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
He knows it now. And as we go into Iron Man 3, we were faced with our own crossroads. Where do we take this character?
Things get more grounded in everything that we've set up, but also more complicated and more challenging for Tony.
Iron Man 3 is an opportunity to take Tony's story even further and catch up with him after the events of the Avengers.
Nothing's been the same since New York. You experience things, and then they're over.
He's really trying to reconcile what's what and who he wants to be and the direction that he wants to go in.
I hope I can protect the one thing I can't live without.
We take Tony Stark and we sort of break him down and put him through the ringer. You see him do some action stuff, not as Iron Man, but as Tony. And it's part of him having to reassess things and then stand back up and reclaim what's his.
With Phase 1, we wanted to build up to something big, and now as we start again, remind them Tony Stark is an incredibly fascinating character on his own, and begin to build Phase 2 from that.
Rhodey has been doing stuff clearly for the government. Now he's got to come together with Tony once again to address this newest threat.
Some people call me a terrorist. I consider myself a teacher. Lesson number 1. Heroes. There is no such thing.
The greatest foe of Tony Stark and of Iron Man is the Mandarin.
His motivation is to turn the pyramid of civilization as we know on its head. He has his own logic, and it is anarchistic and terrible.
Ready for another lesson.
Where it begins and where it ends is kind of brave and different and really interesting. And of course, it's done with all the fireworks and action and excitement, but there's really heart underneath it.
This film is the most emotionally satisfying and the most technically and action-wise and superhero-wise entertaining of them all.
It gives the audience a lot to key in. I hope it just gives them geeked to see what's next, because Marvel has a rasher of things lined up that I think are going to be really exciting.
As we get now into Phase 2, we have many more stories.
A lot of the fun of the first film was bringing Thor to Earth, and in the second one we will see Jane Foster taken to Asgard and beyond, and having to sort of cope with that.
Cap has thrown himself into embracing the modern world. Now he's dealing with bigger issues.
Much like everything in Cap's life, things that he thought were long dead sometimes come back to haunt you.
Guardians of the Galaxy is really a space epic about deadly, kick-ass, cosmic warriors. Edgar Wright, ladies and gentlemen.
I just came on to show a bit of test footage that I shot for Ant-Man.
We're still in the early stages of pre-production on Avengers 2, and already what we have is something extraordinary.
And I think that's it. Down here is where do I find my code? Frequently asked questions, private policy, privacy policy, and contact us. So there it is. That was cool. Can't wait for Phase 2. A little over a month away for Iron Man 3. Love it. Can't wait.